Greetings, sending all some warm, positive vibrations. This is Body-Culinary, and I'm coming in today to answer some questions from a subscriber who's asking about what I eat and also to do a little bit of a lock update. So that's what I'm going to do today. I still have workout clothes on from this morning because I do start very early in the morning. Start training online at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which for me right now is 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a lot of times, right after I'm done training, I go directly into the garden. I can be there for some hours and then come back to do online work, etc. So this is not a channel where, to be quite honest, I do a whole lot of lights and makeup and stuff like that. Not that I can appreciate it, yeah, it doesn't really work for my lifestyle, so I don't make it bad or wrong. I can appreciate makeup, I can appreciate different hairstyles, though my priority is ease and relaxation. And I have a lot to do. I don't know about you all, I have a lot to do. So to make sure I get several key things in, it's really important that I strategize my time. And those things that are super important, core values to me, would be my personal movement practice. That's part of my day. It's such a huge deposit into the 401k of my body, my health insurance. And then there's peaceful consumption, food that loves me back. And I can measure that by my elimination, my energy level, my body's ability to perform. And then it's also garden therapy. And the garden, because I'm growing some things which amazingly enough I can eat. I actually have enough greens to be able to pick something out every day to eat, which is a miracle, amazing. It's it's unbelievable. Or let me say it's amazing, because what you put in is what you'll get out. So those are three leveraged lifestyle practices that I love to share and encourage on this channel. If you're new to this channel, welcome. On Body-Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, natural born woman. Shout out to you, whatever your expression is. And on this channel, I share some of my journey of radical self acceptance. And that is appreciating, celebrating, and being creative with the unique features that I have been divinely assigned, right? And one of them is this. I have a big, nice size Africoid nose. I like celebrating what I have. I have big eyes. I have very fine hair with locks that all growing flat, which I really appreciate. And it's interesting to see what my hair will do along this journey. So I'm going to do a little update on that. One of the subscribers asked recently what I eat. So I have a few videos like that. Not too many, not in the typical style. I don't think I do a lot of the typical videos because of time constraints. I think a lot of the time, if I took the time to be super rehearsed and orchestrate, I feel like I would lose a lot of the vibe of what I want to express. Though I will share some of what I've eaten today in my busy day. So you ready? So my pineapple tea. So I really like to be very, I really like to make use and to maximize what I spend my money on, right? So if I'm buying organic, greetings. If I'm buying organic, from buying by the pound, I emphasize fresh. Though at this point in my life, eating and subsisting on whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods, I will make use of the seeds of my food, of the skins of my food. I will make a tea. For many years, eating living foods, I stopped drinking tea, although my body runs very, very cold. And so what I reintroduced way before the so-and-so demic kicked back in is a favorite tea. And so one of them is pineapple. Pineapple can be very expensive. I use the skin, and usually I also add fresh turmeric, not the powdered, fresh turmeric and fresh jajimbre or ginger. And that will make a beautiful tea that can either be cooled, right? And nice alternative to all of these drinks that are so expensive. I don't know, this has been a lifestyle of mine for years. That I really can't imagine eating any other kind of way, because it's so inexpensive. And I feel like I'm getting so much back in terms of quality. right? Even with turmeric powder, which is wonderful to see people using more fresh turmeric powder. Yet when you're using your food and your ingredients whole, fresh, and unprocessed, the taste, I can't really compare the taste. There's no comparison with the taste. And also, a priority for me is I want the medicine in the food. The medicine in the food is a priority for me. I've done every kind of scenario you can imagine with food for several decades, right? Over 3 decades. So, standard American, Caribbean, African American diet. I never ate the chitlins though. We were raised on fried chicken and chicken backs and neck bones and lima beans and rice from the southern side, and then stewed chicken and peas on team and BX on saltfish from the Caribbean side of my family. So my family can really burn in terms of really preparing food well in the kitchen and spicing it up. Though there's a lot of morbid obesity and the comorbidities that go along with it, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, is prevalent in my family. So that's pretty much waiting for me. And I'm not really interested in that. And I don't like needles. So I really prioritize adding to the traditions that have been passed down to me from both sides of my family. I take a lot of those flavor profiles, a lot of the nutrients and the medicine in the food, and I prepare a lot of those flavors. I manipulate as a creative person with food. I love to manipulate the textures, the colors, the presentation, the flavor, which actually is quite achievable once you have a little know-how. And so I can replicate a lot of flavors, hold on to the medicinal and the nutritive value in the foods without frying, without adding oil. And it's been a journey. Your learning curve actually can be shorter now. That's one of the benefits that we can use social media in a positive way for. So, where one time I would compost, which is still getting some use out of the pineapple skin, I can make it into a lovely tea. And for those folks that can't imagine, which used to be me, folks that can't imagine having tea without added sweetener, it's really something to tune into and to dial into your taste buds to cultivate a palate where your tongue can really appreciate the natural sweetness inside food. So I can taste the natural sweetness is sweet enough without needing to add additional over sweetener, not even agave nectar or honey. So that's like a sweet spot you can get to with your food. So again, in answer to the subscriber who asked what I eat, I had pineapple tea today. I've been out in the garden. I did a workout, vigorous workout, and actually I've been sharing some of them. So you can replay them until they get moved over to the website. Also, I use a lot of the Jamaican lime. So I just made a hummus. I just had a self-defense class with someone who's absolutely exquisite. I think at some point I'm going to share her with the Flower Fit community. But I'm using, these smell so exquisite, the Jamaican limes, which have so many seeds in them, right? Several varieties of lime. That's the Jamaican lime. Here's another local Caribbean lime. These are full of seeds. So I use a lot of fresh lime juice. So I just made a beautiful cucumber and sea vegetable salad with a homemade sesame hummus. The sesame hummus recipe is inside the 7-day nutritional reset. So that's for those folks that are looking to embark on whole, fresh living and unprocessed foods is a lifestyle, not a diet. So the sesame hummus recipe is in there. So that's a staple in my house. I also cut up fresh beets in there, which is great also to spread on your lips with some raw cocoa butter. And I use these are much smaller local plum Roma tomatoes. And I also had a huge avocado, which I also shared. I just ate the other half, but I shared the other half with my sister and with a house guest who was just going over some fantastic self-defense techniques. So I do eat a good amount of fat. Though at this point, I don't need the oils. Oils I may save for my skin. So that's what I ate today. It's not a diet. I can eat very intuitively. Also, I did pick some sweet potato greens from my yard, which I didn't get to eat yet. So I will use those this evening. Let me see if I still have some. Yeah. Oh, and I picked also some herbs. So let me show you what we're working on in the garden, what's left. So I was just out earlier today, and I have loads of aloe and nopales and lavender that I started from little bit. So here's the fresh lavender. Oh my gosh, this smells so exquisite. I just picked this out of the yard. We just picked some nopales. right? And I just picked several aloe, which I have like hundreds of aloe. So over here in my little neck of the woods, I just have a vision. I envision several million women, yes, several million women luxuriating and nourishing ourselves with what we grow in our yard. I call it the ways of the mothers and the grandmothers. So if I had to go to the store and to pay for this, okay, I'd be paying for it, but there's also the experience and the relaxation that comes from and the connectedness that comes from growing things that you will use. So we've got the nopales, we've got the lavender, which, oh my gosh, this smells so exquisite. It's nothing like having your own fresh herbs inside of the yard. And then something also that I have a huge oregano tree outside. I picked oregano. Oil of oregano is so expensive, right? And I just feel intuitively that when I'm using the fresh lavender and the oregano from the yard, I know I'm getting so much of the enzymes and the nutrients when I'm getting them fresh. I just think there's no comparison to the quality. In addition, I love to see the flowers go to seed and collect the seed to grow my own. This particular, I've gotten several trees off of this one oregano bush. I've gifted so much of this oregano bush to several people, given the cuttings from the one mother plant to other people. And I have a good amount of greens that I just picked out of the yard. And believe it or not, you can grow fresh greens in your yard too. Okay, so that's what I eat in a day. I eat very intuitively. I have a lot of water and tea in the morning. Definitely I'll knock out 20 ounces during my movement practice. Green water, which is also inside of the 7-day nutritional reset. These are staples. This is not a diet, it's my lifestyle. And this is as someone that comes from a family history of obesity, who has half of a thyroid and who had a tremendous amount of acne. All right, so that being said, I'm going to finish the rest of this tea and I'll give a little bit of a lock update. So there is a video on this channel of the Afro Locs challenge. Those folks that may be considering embarking on seeing what your natural hair can do. I think that this is a wonderful option for those of us, not only with kinky, cottony textured hair, but also maybe you can relate if you're someone that maybe looking down the line is concerned about keeping your own natural hair on your head. If you're interested in preserving your hairline, I have a very delicate hairline. I have a little bit of length now, but I can't take any kind of pulling. It is very painful. And my hair is actually light and fluffy, though still pulling my hair is it's painful. And I'm not really here for the pain. Painful shoes, painful clothes, painful hairstyle. It doesn't compute to me. It doesn't make any sense. I'm really on this channel. Something I really like to encourage is radical self-acceptance, right? Appreciating what you've been gifted with and prioritizing, for example, your natural tetas, your natural breast being tumor and growth free. You know, sometimes I marvel and I wonder when did it happen? When did we shift to, especially culturally as Afro women, when do we ever become so fixated on, and again, this is not to condemn anyone, you know, your body, you're right. But when do we become so fixated on all of these artificial implementations and prosthetics on the body, which to the touch don't feel natural? And then more importantly, the younger generation, I don't think that the frame of reference and the discernment is there in your 20s and even your early 30s to think long term. You know, I'm in full acceptance that as a species, we follow a lot. And currently, and this is not just relegated to in the 20s and the 30s, currently, we're making some alterations to our bodies when we're going through something that when you change your mind, you can't take it back. We're making some permanent alterations. And now we can see, just looking on YouTube, the amounts of people that are being open about still not being pleased with their body after the fact. Not everybody's honest about it. There's one video that is posted in the community section that this woman put out herself. She's honest and she says that the surgeries that she had only have exacerbated and magnified her insecurities, right? So we're in an age of what I would say the emperor has no clothes on. I don't know if the folks know that story, right? There's an old story about an emperor. He didn't have any clothes on, right? Interesting story. Though, because he was the emperor, nobody was courageous enough to tell me, oh, you don't have any clothes on. You need to go put some clothes on, because he was the emperor. And I think of that story a lot in the current climate, where you could be in a very unhealthy state. You might be in an abusive relationship. You might be in a situation that's endangering your life. Yet it's almost like a social, I don't know, it's the social cue that we just give compliments, 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 big up each other. And if there's something uh, that is out of alignment or unhealthy, folks will go from either extreme. Either one extreme is not to say anything and just give you compliments, or folks become very polarized and almost like a mob cult-like mentality of folks feeling the need to really lambaste you and tear you down, right? And again, it's strangers looking at a screen or looking at a box. I think I know it's very, very alarming. So I'm not going to change the world. I don't have those kinds of illusions. Yet I do feel passionate. Just my one little contribution is just to just share my journey of someone with fine, kinky Afro textured hair, that we do have other options. And this option is one that can be very stress free. Is You can be very creative, low maintenance, not put your hairline in jeopardy, not risk yourself or put yourself at risk of fibroids from caustic chemicals. And it is really one, maybe this is maybe one of the biggest things, is going through the process of sitting with yourself and your internal and observing without demonizing, examining your internal dialogue about your features that you have. And if we were to sit quietly and honestly, sometimes it can even be alarming when you really sit with yourself and listen and observe your own internal dialogue, right? When you listen to the judgments and the criticism, it's like, wow, sometimes it sounds harsh, and where did it come from? It's actually connected to a lot of emotions that we carry in self-esteem. And today, the climate, although a lot of us are not in person, is very performative, where we're putting on a lot of show for strangers. It's a strange social pressure. I would dare say, I think it contributes to mental and emotional instability. I think it also contributes to a lot of depleted pocketbooks, a lot of depleted economics. So what I'm saying is not the truth, just one woman's perspective, just something to consider. So what's going on with this hair? I'm not really doing much to it. I've been trimming it and trimming it. I've noticed I'm getting a natural haircut as I've allowed the hair to, is there a piece of length there? Allowed the hair to join. So now it's got a little length. I can see that it's fully joined. And down to the bottom, where there were like 3 or 4 locks that are that have combined, they're really skinny. These used to be the fluffy double strand twists. I noticed that they are breaking off. So I am documenting and noting a lot of these changes. Maybe this could save someone some time. Again, if you have very fine hair and you may be thinking of locking or considering going product free for the light fluffiness, for the ease and the maintenance, and to also maximize and to see what your hair can do, I can see now that if maybe perhaps if I started these over or with what I know now, I might allow them to join a lot thicker, especially someone with fine hair. That can provide a much stronger base. So the hair is still springy, has a bit of an afro at the base. And there's one lock. This is week number 4, where just as an experiment, right? These are 2 of my, I don't want to say big locks, but this would be an average size of lock. They're flat. And each one of these was 3 or 4. So this is like 7 locks. This is what I mean when I say my hair is fine. This is like 7 locks combined. I only have about 30 locks. So I have a very loose ponytail holder that's not tight, that I have put on these 2 locks that are already 2 locks combined. So if we take a look, let's see, it's not a lot of lighting going on in here. If we take a look, we can see now this is week number 4. Let's see what the hair is doing. Can I get some light over here? So they're kind of like joined together. Right? I don't know if y'all can see. Well, let me put this here to the side. Right, so here is this is 4 weeks, and this ponytail holder, which is like a cloth stretchy ponytail holder, is very loose, and it's not. I can't take a whole lot of tension. I don't want a bunch of indentations inside my hair because my hair is already fine and all of my locks are flat. And combine it to a lot of this length is probably going to continue to get a natural haircut. So I think something to consider is that it's not weighty because it's light and fluffy, though this is totally different at the base. This is 7 locks than these 7 down here. So I think eventually they will break off, but I can see that I don't have a lot of light. Let me see if I lift up my computer. I can get some light here. That they are joined at the base. So this was very loose. Yeah, so I could rip this apart. Here we go. I think you can see I could rip this apart, but I'm going to leave it. Right, so when I'm washing it, if I rinse it every week, you can see. So no, my hair is not slicked down. I'm not doing all of that. So I just took this very loosely and twisted it twice on it. So it's light enough on there so it's not compact. I don't want to put indentations into my already fine hair, right? Because that could be considered a kind of damage. I'll move it up a little bit. But all of this is getting rinsed, right, and washed. And this is where it's combined. I can still stick my finger through it, but a lot of it is starting to join. So this is week 4. So just a little experiment to see how long will it take my hair to lock. Now, I know this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Yet I always find that I'm pleasantly surprised by when I try to do certain hairstyles, they don't often look right. But actually, sometimes when I do, like, let's say, for example, a quick messy bun, or spritz a little water and go like this, or take my little fenugreek that feels like a really light water-based gel, those mistake hairstyles I find are the most complimentary. Actually, I find that that's consistent. That is consistent. Those little, I don't want to say make believe, but those little mistaken hairstyles. Let me drink some pineapple tea. That's good. Almost tastes like a light pineapple juice. So the styles that I come up with that are like 1, 2, 3 that I may just put together very quickly to exercise or to move it out of the way. Those messy hairstyles isn't interesting, and I find those are the most complimentary. Even if I were to try to slick this down, which I'm not going to put gel in my hair. Why? Even though it might look a little cute. I've seen some women that have long locks where like a good portion of the base is loose and they'll slick it down. Yet because I don't have oil and these different things in my hair, 1, I don't have buildup. Number 2, the hair is light and fluffy, which I enjoy. And number 3, everything has a tendency to get caught in this hair. So that I don't want. I have zero interest in dyeing my hair. My hair is already delicate. My hair already communicates that it doesn't like to be messed with. So that would be setting myself up to damage my delicate hair. That's 1,000. I'm 1,000% clear. That would just be damaging my hair. Number 4, being that I don't have any chemicals or grease or oil in it, I can actually see the natural, when the light is here, I can actually see the natural color of my hair, which is a brown color. So it shines through. It doesn't need any dye in it, which would dramatically change the texture. Number 5, the hair, how can I say it? It's the texture, it's dry, but it's not brittle. So it's only dry in the context of it's not wet, but it is not brittle. It's extremely soft. And I marvel at how over the years the conditioning and the marketing is that we need to put all of this conditioner in the hair. I think conditioner would totally get caught up in my hair, and I really just don't feel that I need it. And lastly, I would say my scalp feels fantastic. It's not an ounce of dryness, dandruff, no flaking. My scalp feels like it can breathe. Even when I sweat every day at 5 a.m. from exercising, the sweat evaporates quickly. There's no odor in my hair. If it's anything, I'd say I'm going to continue to explore is I've decreased the amount of time that I use the shampoo in recent months. And I've been using for a while. There's the different teas that, from the different herbs and things that I have in the garden. So again, like the oregano, the aloe, the nopales, all these different things. That's what I'm using to wash my hair. So I find with delicate hair, our hair can already get stripped. I don't have any stripping of my hair with the harsh shampoos. I also think it's very, and this is just me, this is not about being cheap, but I just think it's more cost effective. I greatly consider, and I have for many years, the economics. I call it Afronomics to go with these Afro locks and these Afro flower locks. That's what I'm calling them. I think that considering the economics of esteem is really, really important. I think it's really underestimated, not just by other folks, but by us who have this unique DNA marker. Why? Well, when you think of, well, I kind of feel this way about the snack industry too. That's a whole nother story. Though when you think of these bazillion dollar businesses, you're lucky if, let's say, at Essence Fest, they give away some free conditioner. So it's a tremendous amount of economics that leave the hands and is not recirculated back to the women that have this unique DNA marker. In addition, those economics that leave, they don't get recycled back to the daughters, right? So in terms of leaving a legacy of economic viability, economic wealth, it's really, really important. And I'm gonna say what's on my heart. I'm gonna say it. When you travel around the world and you see, I was always from a young woman. My godfather encouraged me to see how we're doing in different parts of the world. And you can go different places and you can see some of the population of young Afro women, even if we are on a lower economic status, right? Everyone, we always find money to get our hair done. Now, that's not a bad thing. Though it's economics that leaves. I've seen black soap, a little piece of black soap that might be $5. I've seen it for as much as $30 and up in different economies. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Black soap is usually made from olive oil or olives and or plantains. Where are plantains coming from? So these are ancestral foods. So these are the ways, I will call them, of the mothers and the grandmothers. If we're not familiar with them, if we don't enact them as a way of life, as one elder said to me, how can I put it? She said, your culture should feed you. Your culture should feed you. So for those of us that have this unique DNA marker, it can become political, or doesn't have to be. But the one thing that could level the playing field is the economics of this hair. Think of it as not only does this hair have the capacity to really ground you in another way in terms of your esteem and the esteem of your daughters, and to really set the foundation for your health as health insurance, right? Because we pass on cultural values and core values and mores along with our hair care practices, right? There's a tremendous possibility to pass on the economics of the esteem that goes with our hair. Will it be everybody? No. Do I shun or put off those members of my family community that don't have natural hair? That would be absolutely ridiculous. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Let me block this site here, right? Whenever we see these things here, we want to block these things because as we can see, the XX69 site, that's a perfect example. This is a perfect example of entities or groups or whoever they are looking to capitalize off of Afro features for whatever appetites folks have, right? It's economic, whether we like it or not. One woman's perspective, there's a definite economics around this hair. This may be one of the very few areas where we have something unique to us, a unique DNA marker. And being for yourself does not mean that you're against other people. Yet to allow ourselves to be exploited, or maybe another way to put it, to not take it full advantage of the possibilities of this unique DNA marker, I think we're tremendously missing out. And so when I share on this channel the possibilities of these three leverage, I call them Afro flower practices, of peaceful consumption, food that loves you back. Call yourself whatever label you want to. That should be our business. Peaceful consumption, garden therapy, and a personal movement practice. They are so leveraged that it's beyond words. The capacity to have a real direct immediate impact, your personal movement practice, deep therapy that you have access and control over to make yourself feel better in a real way, to get a natural shot of feel good drugs from the inside that you can continue to get a hit every single day, that you can add a real and cultivate a real sustainable esteem through your movement practice. So it's not just about having a flat stomach, though the integrity of keeping your word to yourself, giving yourself examples of tenacity and focus when it comes to your own health before other people and before your job, before your children. That's something rare. Where else are you getting that? Y'all tell me. And it's something that you can give to yourself on a regular daily basis. It's pretty much, it's free. It's something that you have access to, your personal movement practice. It's your opportunity to release a tremendous truckload of stress, physiological stress every day. Where else do you have that outlet? So today, I don't know if any of you in school have studied, my younger flowers, if you've studied the opium wars. Are y'all aware of the opium wars? As I'm speaking to someone today that worked in one of these industries, in the cannabis industry, who was giving me some information. Now, I'm not a cannabis user, not knocking anybody that does, but this person was sharing some information about the milligrams that are inside a lot of these cannabis products and how concentrated they are, and that by comparison, when they first came out, what people were doing years ago by virtue of milligrams, in comparison today, it's become so concentrated. She said that it is akin to taking opium. So I don't know that we are really being critical thinkers, and I don't expect that everyone will, and I don't expect that I'm going to save the world. It's just one woman's perspective. And a whole lot of information is not the same thing as wisdom. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything. Yet, young flowers, you can benefit from learning and being strategic, learning from the errors in judgment of others. Or if we're not going to say the errors in judgment, if we can say the results of others or the lack of results of others. So all that to say, I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you there is a huge, I don't think we've even really made enough of a dent in the possibilities of what this hair can do for us. And again, a woman in her 90s said to me, your culture should feed you. It has the possibility to feed you. I am not talking about cults. I'm talking about culture, right? Because I got a lot of culture. I've got Caribbean culture. I've got Afro and African American culture. Yes, people can be the word police. African American, proud Afro, African American, Caribbean, all of that. The music, all of the parts of it that are positive. The parts, beating your kids and negativity and dysfunctional music, y'all can have that. That can go in the garbage. I'm not interested. This hair has a tremendous capacity to feed us and also to pass on values of health, of herbal preparation, of fitness, of exercise. Think about it. A lot of today, what is being medicated, and I've said this for years, in an ideal situation, it's a poor substitution, and I get some people may need their quote unquote medications. Yet there's some things that are medicated that are taking the place of human beings and wisdom and safe elders, right? For example, coffee is not a substitution for sleep. Red Bull is not a substitution for sleep and rest and recharging. It's just not. Yet the masses of society go along with this narrative of coffee. I get it. It smells fantastic. Though I don't know about you. I don't need any extra health problems. And I'm not trying to burn out my adrenal glands and have chronic adrenal fatigue, right? So I don't know if we're thinking about these things deeply enough. And it seems that the next generation coming up is having to find out a lot on their own. And it's a lot of reinventing of the wheel. And then not a lot of maximized time. You have to spend so much time coming to things that were already figured out. Either because folks are not sharing the wisdom, or now we have a lot of more older chronological adults, but it doesn't appear, and this is not an insult, that our wisdom is not on par, right? And that shows up in our decision making and in making decisions that put us, put our offspring and children, put our economics, and put our values, not religion, that's separate, that puts us in harm's way. When we're making lots of decisions that put us in harm's way and puts the future generations in harm's way, then only you know in your quiet moments. That's saying something. It says a lot. So it appears that a lot of this generation is like scrambling on their own, and even the previous generation, even my generation, there's not a lot of acknowledgement of trauma. And then even when it is, it seems like we can get we can loop into um, and get stuck in an unproductive state of ruminating over the trauma and what has happened. And I'm not looking to be dismissive of that at all. Yet it doesn't seem we can get into the mode of solutions and making ourselves feel better in ways that don't medicate us to the point where we're like doped out on snack food, substances, and uh, intimate relations devoid of love and care and respect. Does this make sense what I'm saying to y'all? So I really feel that, or have found in my own personal experience, again, I'm by no means a saint. I've just figured out some things that just don't produce results that are desirable. And I'm still learning. Though I found taking several things off the table saves me a lot of time, energy, clarity, and preserve my economics and my energy. So I've taken several things off the table. One of them is a lot of validation from companies and folks with a conflict of interest. I've taken it off the table. So whatever folks their interpretation or thoughts on my hair is like is not really important. I can take critique. Yeah, I'm not here for critique. I'm just sharing my experience in the hopes that it might be valuable to a young flower or someone out there. So I do get that everybody will not find this attractive, and that is quite okay. I find it attractive. I would actually dare say all of us are at our most attractive when we are healthy. So redefining the narrative in a way that is sustainable without lying to myself, that works for me. Yeah, that's become a practice and a paradigm shift. So I take off the external validation about this here off the table. I take off all the money that was siphoned off for all of these products that I never needed. That's off the table. Not even a consideration. You couldn't pay me to put certain things. You couldn't. You just couldn't pay me to. Eating whole, fresh, unprocessed foods has taken so much off the table. Implementing a daily movement practice has taken so much off the table. I have a tremendous opportunity to train and experience my own power, to release a lot of stress, to maintain a healthy, natural weight. It's taken a lot off the table. So you see these three leverage lifestyle practices, to which this is a big part of my lifestyle. I'm not Rastafarian. I don't claim that, although I can appreciate a lot of positive things from the culture. I have Rastas in my family. I don't pretend, I'm not claiming that. I will never say I will never wear makeup, although it's not my preference, because I don't think we need to put ourselves into boxes. I think boxes are played out. I think, my perspective, religious boxes played out. I just think we do it out of fear and overwhelming to desire to want to belong to something. And quite often we're sacrificing our independent thought, and we give away a lot of our personal power. So you have the right to change. And it's likely, young flowers, that you're going to change your perspectives on many things throughout the course of your journey of life. So why alter yourself permanently following these fictitious so-called celebrity characters who you don't even know? What are the possibilities for exploring what your own hair and skin can do when they're healthy? What about the possibility of aging gracefully? And can you imagine today really enjoying when you have white hair, and there will come a time when you're no longer able to bear children? There will come a time, what will you do then? You can still get your parent or your mother on. There are a lot of conversations that we're not having. Are young women considering later in life, if you're not married, have you made significant and vetted investments into relationships where you start to think about, should you not get married, what will your living situation be like? Who will be looking in on you when you're sick? Right? Have you invested in those relationships? So there's so many things to consider. That's one of the reasons why I have Flower Fit, right? Community. There is information on that in the About section, and that's really about coming together around specific activities. Usually, those being those leverage activities, the garden, creating some positive feedback and sharing of your personal movement practice daily, your garden, and peaceful consumption, eating healthfully. It's real simple. It's real simple. There are some folks that may feel like they're just doing it on their own, and that is your responsibility. Though it's nice if you have folks to kick back and share your recipes or share your pictures of your food with. So there's information about that inside the About section. There's also Body-Culinary has Sunday coaching at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time around whole living foods and fitness as a lifestyle. So get your questions answered if you want to embark on this journey. There's also the 7-day nutritional reset. You can reach out to me or just go directly to the website if you're interested in getting those recipes and that outline and a guided meal plan and sharing pictures of your food and your movement practice. That is also available. So many of us, I think, would make healthier choices if we had support. Though it likely is going to be on you to find that support and create some kind of support for yourself for those times where you may not be in the headspace to eat healthy. You may be stressed from work. Maybe your finances are not where they used to be. Maybe you're feeling down because you're not in a relationship and the holidays are coming. I invite you to create some support for yourself in your movement practice and eating beautiful food. It can actually be very accessible and sustainable to eat very healthfully. I've been doing it for years. I could do it off of $5, $20. Check out Whole Living Foods in the Hood with menus to fit your budget. There are sample shops there, $5, $20, $100. So you can have some ideas for what would I prepare if I was just eating whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods? What would I do with all of that produce, right? Am I getting enough protein? How do I take my show on the road? And for those folks that are interested in the coaching, reach out to me at info@body-culinary.com or just click. You'll get there quicker if you fill out the application on the Google form, because if I cannot identify people, if you have an avatar with no face, it is not likely I will respond if I cannot identify you. So I do prioritize my safety and the safety of women and young people that are around me. That is not open for question, debate. That's not even a conversation. And if those weird sites come on here, I block them immediately. And that's just it. That's actually sometimes why I don't come on as often. For those folks that have a lot of acne or would even like to see the possibilities for what you can do with your fine hair and using food. Food is what I use. Food and health and my movement practice. Those are my quote unquote beauty products. So there's natural beauty, no products. You can see how jacked up my skin was looking with all that healthy eating and all of that really intense adult acne, which I can tell you was no fun. Only thing that cleared it up was really 100% living food, not 90%, not 80%. It was whole living foods and sweaty daily movement. And that's it. So you can find a video, Afro Locs Freedom Hair Regimen on this channel. I'm thinking constantly of several things that I would add on and tweak in this regimen, which is already so super simple because I'm not using any products. I'm not using any kind of oils. I'm just not doing it. I'm just prioritizing. I'm prioritizing just being stress-free when it comes to my hair and my skin. I just feel like it's for me to take my own power back. So I really feel that we deserve to feel comfortable in our own hair and skin. Your natural body matters. It's amazing that we even have to say this. Your natural tetas, your natural shape, it matters. The most important thing is that it's healthy and it's growth free, that it's tumor free, that we're nourishing ourselves in a way that they recognize. Your cells of your body are not stupid by any means, right? If something doesn't belong in the body, we get an inflammatory response. That's a message that something is not supposed to be in there. So anyway, that was my update today with the two locks I'm allowing to combine. These used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was 7 locks, right? All this stuff up here is flat. I'm embracing it. You know, I was in the garden today. I had my little t-shirt on, my little vintage t-shirt, which I love. I'm very picky about the things I wear. I'm not into all. I like fashion, but I wouldn't be spending $5 gazillion on clothes at this point. Experiences are much more important. So my little vintage shirt, I love it. It says Gold Crusher. I like that as soon as I look at them, I'm inspired. So I'm picky about who I will wear things from. For example, on my bracelets are by Masani Designs. My necklaces are from Kaj. Maybe one day. I don't have any sponsorships or anything like that. But I wear things that are important to me. This is a woman-owned business, and she makes the most delicate little things. The most delicate, and her jewelry is gold filled. She has the most exquisite jewelry in Central America, and I think these are very affordable for young women when you want to treat yourself to a couple of pieces. All you need is like a couple of little signature pieces. I can still wear these while I'm exercising. You know, she has such detail. Her stuff is made by hand, and it's very cost effective, and it doesn't turn. So, and she's such a wonderful person. I really feel passionately about the things that I'm going to put on or next to my body. Most of it is food, movement, and a couple of little things. That's all I need. That's all I need. One time, and then other than this, you know, who knew that you could have fine hair and have a little lioness mane? That was one of my goals, right? Even though I'm still trimming the bottom from where that had the double strand twists that are all now compact. They used to be fluffy twists. I can see now what the hair looks like in its mature stage. I wanted a lioness mane. I would have loved that Valerie June hair, but I don't have that. So I'm accepting what it is that I have, right? And who knows what it's going to look like when it gets a little bit longer, right? So yeah, I do want to experience that. I can be okay with it short. I just want it to be healthy. As I've said before, if it was hanging on by a shoestring and my hairline was back here looking like Bozo the Clown, I would cut this off in 2 shakes of a monkey's tail. I would get me some clippers and cut it off. I feel extremely comfortable with very, very low hair. But I do want to experience what this is like too. So my scalp feels free. I can put my hands in here and massage at any point in time. You know, I can turn on this camera and feel comfortable in my skin. When I pass by the mirror, I have a spontaneous smile to myself, and that feels so good. That feels like something that nobody can take away from me. And I want to nurture that and be protective of that for when the time comes, when maybe one day, who knows, even with a good bra, maybe my breasts will go down to my stomach. Perhaps my hair will be white. Is that something that we are terrified of? I just want to be healthy. I want to be able to dance. I want to be able to jump double dutch. If I should have some grandchildren or my adopted grandchildren, I want to enjoy my life. I don't really care. Well, I do like fashion, but I don't care about fashion and makeup palettes at the expense of my mental and my emotional and my physical health. I just don't. It's not that important. It's not my priority to impress strangers on the internet who don't have a vested and demonstrated interest and investment in me. It's just not important, you know? The garden is important. That's giving me something back for the valuable investment of my time. My pineapple skin and my compost bin is giving me something back. My bunnies are giving me some nice cold manure, you know, for their time and all the fruits and vegetables, all the vegetables that they eat. So at this point in life, it is important that relationships, they don't need to be perfect because humans are not perfect, but that they be and that they be reciprocal relationships. So my food must give me something back. My relationships must give me something back. They must be mutually beneficial. and they must make me feel good most of the time. And even when I'm not feeling so good, it better be purposeful. It better have a purposeful outcome or reason for it, like bitter herbs. Otherwise, what am I doing? That's not a good investment of my time. So anyway, this is Body Culinary. Came on here to send y'all some positive vibes. Here's my latest little hair thingy that is super loose, right? Because we don't want anything that's going to put indentations into the hair. And let me know down in the comments. So any of you, would you consider going oil free? What would be the possibilities if you have fine hair, of fluffy locks? I was a little apprehensive. I didn't know what this was going to look like. Now I have an idea what it's going to look like. And I'll take this little lioness mane. I'll take it. This is manageable. This is doable. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. You can check out Body Culinary as Kwasa Peaceful Eating. Kwasa Peaceful, full belly on TikTok, Body Culinary on Instagram. Sometimes I'll post a little on Facebook, the results of our daily workout. So if you're using your heart rate monitor, which I do recommend if you have fitness trackers and heart rate monitors, that you bring them to the daily workout so you can start to get some feedback. We talk about this a lot in coaching, right? Many people have no idea of how much you're burning during your movement practice, if you're moving at all. You don't have any idea if you've adapted to your favorite exercise you've been doing over and over. You may have no idea that you're actually exacerbating stress on your joints or causing injury. So there's a lot of comprehensive education around your food and your movement to be had in the morning, right? It's an element of coaching, corrective exercise, and a vigorous workout done in a small space. All you gotta do is bring yourself and your mat in the morning. And tomorrow is Friday. Friday is a community class. So if you fill out the about section, if you get in there, again, if I cannot identify you, I do not and I will not open the space for anybody that I cannot identify, right? So a peaceful, respectful, and a safe space is priority number one. So let me know how your natural hair journey is going. Let me know if you try the pineapple turmeric elixir. Feel free, if you find value in this content, to like, comment, subscribe. And before I jet out of here, as I've mentioned on this channel, feel free to use this channel as a support. I am big. That's one of my secret weapons. I create support unapologetically for myself. So for years, before this whole YouTube came out, I've always had audiobooks and tapes and videos and a little cassette recorder and a DVD player where there are certain things I'll play over and over and over so I could grasp other concepts on health, fitness, anything that was really positive, and I would call them my friends, right? Because you might not have some positive, productive friends that are into fitness or natural hair or, finance. You may not have that around you. So if you don't have it, you might have to create it for yourself. It is likely you're on your own. You'll have to create that for yourself. So feel free to replay the videos you find on this channel. There's a whole lot. There's a puppet series, Sister Butterfly and Sister Monkey Learn to Eat Better. There's relaxation videos on this channel. There's some nutrition. There's some 5 a.m. workouts. Replay them while you are decluttering, cutting up your fruits and vegetables, or while you're stretching. So you get several positive things in one shot. And that is delicious. This is Body Culinary signing off. Like, comment, respectfully subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon.